So FC Musa lined up in something that looked like this. Anyway, for most of the duration of the match, they lined up with a shape that looked like this. So you had, pretty much a 5 at the back. Then you had 3 players in the middle, creating something very difficult to break down for Power Dynamos. The whole idea of a low block is that teams are going to try and protect the goal scoring area. The goal scoring area is this shaded part in what you're able to see now. And so this is how Musa lined up. The bottom line, like I said, is to try and prevent teams from getting in there. And so I think this is something that most teams are going to implement during the course of the season, especially against teams which they feel maybe are better suited to play a possession kind of game and maybe probably have better players on the board, technically superior players. So basically they had a base of about 5 players in the back line. Then you had 3 people there. Then you had another player around here, another one around there, another one around there. To complete the 10. So in a way, it's like a small-sided game or a quarter-sided game of 5v7 or 6v7 or whichever way you like. And so Power Dynamos had a lot of trouble. What would happen is that, yes, they would carry the ball maybe up to these areas. Maybe a Joshua Mtale would come there, but then he couldn't break down whatever was happening there. And the only thing they could do is that they whipped crosses in the box. But then the crosses that they whipped in the box were as well not effective enough. So what could they have done differently? Number one, I think they should have based on the same personnel that they had on the pitch. It just required a few changes in terms of the ideas that they were going to implement. So the first thing that they should have done, I think they should have relied on the use of what we call ball carriers. Do they have those ball carriers in the team? Yes, they do have the ball carriers, and one of those is a player like Joshua Mtale. And so, okay, you can ignore the numbering here. So, a player like Joshua Mtale, why you need him in a match like this is that he's going to give you 2 things that you require if you're going to break down a low block. The first thing is that he's going to eliminate numbers. We know that he's good with dribbling. And so what happens is if he's on this line, the moment he dribbles this person is eliminated. Now that automatically means that this person will have to come and move this side to come and provide cover. The moment he moves, you can see that the spaces begin to open up. Obviously in football, you expect this person to move this side to come and provide cover, but wherever someone has moved from, then there's a space which is created. And so even if you had to move this player and you also maybe move this player or whatever you want to do, there's always space that is created. So the first thing is that you need to do a lot of elimination so to get the spaces to open up. Does Joshua Mtale offer that? Yes, he does. Does he offer you penetration as well? Yes, he does. Well, they substituted him in the second half. I know the coaches had a different idea, and they're the coaches of the team. But I think that a player like him should have been left to go on the pitch. They introduced Mulambia in the second half, but for me, I would have loved to see maybe them keep both players on the pitch because they offer the elimination that we are looking for. They are basically going to carry the ball and they are going to pick the lock if you like. So because of the penetration that they are going to give you in a match, then you're going to get some joy. The other thing that you'd be looking at is that you need to create a lot of overloads. Now, overloads are okay. So you have your Joshua Mtale coming this side. Then there was Mulambia, the other Mulambia, the left back, playing this side. Okay, you saw him whipping a lot of crosses, which was a good thing. But the only challenge with the overloads is that the overloads were only happening on one side of the pitch. On the right side of the pitch, you had the so-in overloads. So what the team would do in this case, like Musa, they basically knew that the other side was not going to offer them any threat on the right side. So they basically deal with what you have on this side. But imagine a case where you have 2 players that are able to eliminate. When Mulambia came on, the other Mulambia, Fred Mulambia came on. If you have 2 players that are able to eliminate and create overloads. An overload is something that will look like this. Create maybe a 2v1 or a 3v2 for the attacking side. What this does is that it gives you dominance both in terms of the numbers and also on the ball as well, and that increases your chances of creating goal scoring opportunities. Now, when you create these overloads, the bottom line is that the idea is that you have to get the ball into the box. When you look at Power Dynamos, they had the Kennedy Musonda in the box. I'm not sure he's as good a ball header as say a Brian Mueller. That's why it was surprising for me that when Brian Mueller came, he still played on the wide areas and not maybe in the middle. For me, I would probably even wish that they swap them. Kennedy comes to the wide areas because of his industry. He's able to hustle the defenders. Occasionally he can whip in a cross, but I think they probably needed a Brian Wheeler more around this place than on the wide areas where he may have played from. So when you create those overloads, you need good ball headers in the box. The other thing that you do when a team gives you a lot of trouble, let me just try and clear this. When a team gives you a lot of trouble, if you cannot create enough scoring chances because of the low block that you are doing, the next thing that you do is you begin to force fouls around the box so that you can get a lot of set pieces, if you like. Now, like I said, if you have a Brian Wheeler on the pitch, he can potentially come into that box. There's a defender, Bakodila, can come into that box, and also an Aaron Katebe can come into that box. They do have the area ability. Do they have players that are able to whip in crosses? Yes, they do. Lambia is very good when he's whipping in crosses. So one of the things that you do is you begin to force fouls around areas like this. Okay, these are areas of potential for a team that is trying to break down a low block. So if you cannot break them down using the open play, you break them down using set pieces, and I think that's something that Power could have potentially done in that match to try and give themselves an opportunity to get maybe the maximum points. The other thing that you do, okay, so these are the Moza players, okay, the 5 players that Moza were playing at the back, for example. The X's are the Power Dynamos players. The other thing that you would do is that you just need to begin to move the ball quicker. The moment you begin to move the ball quicker, it means that you are exploiting the space that is going to be left. Let's try and put this in perspective. Okay, okay, that is your line of. Say that's your line of 4, and maybe that is their 6. The moment you begin to move the ball quicker, it's going to start creating a lot of these spaces. Okay, let's paint this picture as real as it can get. Okay, the moment you start moving the ball very quick in football matches, you'll see that there are these spaces that will keep popping up. Okay, the match talked about half spaces, or in between the lines, if you like, where your players are going to start collecting the ball from. And so if you're going to break a low block, you need players to begin to exploit these spaces, but they can only exploit those spaces if they are moving the ball at a quick rate that you would be requiring them to do. And then also, when you're going to move the ball quicker, the other thing that you need to do is that there's something I've seen with our players locally. They want too many touches on the ball. Sometimes it doesn't really help. 1-2 quick passes, then you open up, because the more touches one takes on the ball, then it takes longer for you to get to the opposition goal. Because look, for teams that are playing a very tight block, like I said earlier on, it's rare that you're going to, the spaces are going to open up eventually, but then the problem is that they're going to close up as just like they opened up as quickly as possible. And so it's important that the moment you see these spaces are utilized. But then most of the Power Dynamos players, you'll see them having a lot of touches around this, and it's common amongst our players. Anyway, even when there's an opportunity to move forward, they are playing with the ball around this part. Yes, good ball retention is good, but at the end of the day, players must understand that the ball will move quicker when it is a pass than them when they are dribbling. And so that is something that potentially Power Dynamos could have done as well. And then the basics are always important to observe. As always, when you want to break down a low block, if you can't break them down, put your best ball headers in the box. There's nothing wrong in even pushing maybe your best sitting midfielder swaps with another player so that you get the area advantage in these areas, because it's only when you get the area advantage in these areas that you're going to to get a chance to score, and you can only take advantage of that those areas by whipping in the crosses from the wide areas. As long as you have good ball headers in there, then it always gives you a chance. Then finally, the other thing that you exploit. Look, whenever a few instances of few moments of space open up, there's nothing wrong in going for the long range shot. It has always solved problems of low sitting blocks. Giving reference to the Power Dynamos match as well, I think there was one instance where I can't remember the player that played in midfield. The top player, I think, had one good shot which grazed the the top of the post. And I think the moment they saw that, they should have taken advantage of that, because what happens in a low block is that these teams that play a low block usually are going to hold off. They are going to create something that looks like this. They want to protect this shaded area, and in trying to protect that shaded area, there's this space that opens up, and so it's up to the players that are attacking to try and utilize that space. So finally, what am I trying to say? We're just going through the things that I spoke about. The first thing is that you need ball carriers, because they're able to to carry the ball in these areas, and they're able to eliminate, they're able to pick the opposition lock. The next thing that you need to do is create a lot of overloads, but as you create those overloads, ensure that you have right numbers in the box so that you whip in those crosses, and also overloads are going to help you gain territorial advantage and also give you the penetration that you're looking for. The other thing is that you need to use a lot of set pieces, force set pieces. How do you force set pieces? Get into these areas and ensure that you win them. Let them commit fouls, as it were. The other thing that you have to do is that you have to move the ball quicker, to destabilize the opponent, and the few spaces that they are going to be leaving, you take advantage of those few spaces. And also try and shoot from distance, whipping the crosses and try and shoot from distance, because there's always this area that is going to be opened up because they are dropping off, and so you take advantage of that. And so that's what I thought I could share for now. I just thought we could briefly look at this. Well, something that we could look at in detail going forward, but I thought now that the Moza game is still on people's minds, the Power Dynamos game is still on people's minds, we could try and do this. But at the end of the day, well done by Moza. Excellent setup for them defensively. Then they also did very well to leave 3 players. I think there was one player this way and then another player this way, whom they used as outlets, and on 1 or 2 occasions they managed to hit Power on the counter. Yes, they did not get the goals that they were looking for, but I think it's kudos to them and well done from both sets of coaches. So look, the coaches did what they felt best, but then I thought that there's always maybe other alternatives that they could have explored, and alternatives which are going to face teams that play low block could also use. Until next time, thank you for joining me. Bye bye.